This is the story of Enfinnity Hayes, a young mother whose life was tragically cut short in a twisted and senseless crime. A 22-year-old woman full of life, Enfinity's bright future was taken away by someone she trusted, her own husband, Cameron Lawson. Their relationship seemed happy on the surface, but beneath it lay dark secrets that would eventually lead to a crime that shocked everyone who knew them. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Geary County, Kansas. Enfinnity was a bubbly and joyful woman. Described by her grandmother as someone with a heart of gold. She was not only full of laughter, but was passionate about life, dancing, and being a mother. Those close to her spoke of her infectious personality and her deep love for her family. Enfinity's life was just beginning, she was navigating motherhood with excitement and joy. Enfinnity was married to 23-year-old Cameron Lawson. Enfinity's relationship with her husband Cameron Lawson seemed like a typical young marriage at first. They had met in Pensacola, where both had attended Escambia High School. They married in 2020, and soon after, Enfinnity gave birth to their first child. It was a fresh start for the couple, but beneath the surface, trouble was brewing. On October 3, 2021, Enfinnity and her husband Cameron Lawson, an Army soldier stationed at Fort Riley in Kansas, were at Milford State Park. They had their newborn baby with them, just 3 weeks old at the time, when tragedy struck. They were staying at the Milford State Park group shelter, according to Lawson's initial account, when a man approached them demanding money at gunpoint. The alleged robber shot Enfinnity and fled the scene. Lawson then drove her to the hospital, but tragically, she died from her injuries. But as the investigation continued, doubts arose about Lawson's version of events. Investigators learned through the victim's friends and family that the couple had a history of financial and personal struggles, and many began to suspect Cameron's involvement in his wife's death. In July 2022, after months of investigation, the truth began to surface. It wasn't an innocent robbery gone wrong. Lawson had orchestrated the entire plot. He had conspired with a 20-year-old man by the name of Jonathan Franklin, who was arrested in early August 2022 as the alleged shooter. The two men had staged a crime to look like a robbery, hoping to cover up their motive, insurance money. Lawson had planned to kill his wife for financial gain, and he had involved Franklin to carry out the act. Witnesses, family members, and even Lawson's own statements painted a chilling picture of what had happened. The Geary County Sheriff's Office had initially reported the shooting as an attempted robbery. However, further investigation uncovered the conspiracy between Lawson and Franklin. Both were charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Cameron Lawson's trial began with a mistrial, but concluded with a conviction for first-degree premeditated murder. He was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. Jonathan Franklin, in turn, accepted a plea deal, also facing prison time.
And a native Pensacola soldier is being convicted for the murder of his wife. The killing happened in October of 2021. The couple gave birth to a daughter just 3 weeks prior. Now, 3 years later, the victim's family say they haven't had any access to the child since the murder took place. And I spoke with the grandmother of the murder victim today, and she tells me that losing her granddaughter has been unimaginable.
Never in my deepest thoughts would I thought he would have killed her.
It's a murder that resulted in more than one loss. 26-year-old Cameron Lawson killed his wife in October of 2021. The Pensacola native was found guilty on Monday in Geary County, Kansas. Here is where he and an accomplice killed 22-year-old Enfinnity Hayes.
He took her back to Kansas, and 3 days later, she was murdered.
LaTanya Baldwin is the grandmother of Enfinnity Hayes. She just returned from the 8-day trial in Kansas, where she learned more about her granddaughter's death. The court is convicting him of first-degree premeditated murder.
He collaborated with the person that shot and killed Enfinnity, that he was an active participant in her murder.
Police say the murder was staged as a robbery. The couple was at the park with their newborn when Jonathan Franklin approached them. He demanded money at gunpoint, shot Hayes, then ran away.
Originally, his report stated that it was a robbery. He didn't know who did it, that they just walked up to the car and said, you know, give me your money, give me your money. He heard 2 shots and Enfinnity fell to the ground.
Franklin was arrested in August of 2022 as the shooter. But now Baldwin is facing more than just the loss of her granddaughter. Hayes gave birth to her and Lawson's child just 3 weeks before she was murdered. It's now been 3 years. Baldwin says her great-granddaughter has been with Lawson's family since the murder took place.
We have not seen her since she was 1 month old.
Baldwin says Lawson's mother has custody of the child. She has not been allowed to make any contact with the 3-year-old.
Says do not call or text her or through no means next at all to get in contact with that baby.
Baldwin says that state laws have stopped her from gaining custody of her great-grandchild. Now she has one goal in mind.
But now, since he's been convicted, our next step is to get custody of our grandchild.
Now, Baldwin tells me that she is working with a lawyer to gain custody of her great-granddaughter. And as for Lawson, he'll be sentenced in December. He faces anywhere from 50 years to life in prison.
The crime that took Enfinity's life was not only senseless but preventable. As we reflect on this tragic story, one cannot help but wonder how someone could place so little value on the life of another. Cameron Lawson's actions were not just a betrayal of his wife, but a heartless act that deprived his son of the one person who could have shown him unconditional love: his mother. Enfinnity was not just a wife, she was a mother, a daughter, and a friend. How could Lawson have valued money over the priceless gift of family, over the irreplaceable bond between a mother and her child? In the end, no amount of money could ever make up for the loss of a mother, and no riches could fill the void left in the heart of a child who will grow up without the woman who loved him most. My condolences to Enfinity's friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace.